Welcome back. So let's go ahead and talk today something that I think is very, very important. I always have people say, "Hey, uh, I'm doing the work, I'm getting good instruction, but I just feel I need to get better. I feel like something's holding me back. I need something that's going to take me to that next level, really get my art to be getting better and better and better and better and better." And so, what I think a great idea is, and I've talked about this to people in my class and stuff like that, and that is, I have my wife is she's an author, and I've always been very impressed with the authors and the writers in the area, and the writers that I've met, because many of them, especially at all levels, will be involved in some sort of a critique group. Pardon me. And so they need to bounce their ideas off of people. They need to have people read through their stories. They need to have pointed out to them what needs to be changed, what's working, what's not working, all these different aspects of a story. And with visual arts, it's no different. If you want to get your work better and better and better, especially if you're working on a piece, so that's a really meaty piece, in other words, you're putting a lot of time into it, 30, 40 hours or something like that, 50 hours, maybe 100 hours if you're doing, photorealism or something like that. You're going to have avenues where you get stuck, and you're going to need a way to point yourself into a different direction or to correct the problem so you can keep going forward, whichever it is. Now, this isn't just, I mentioned photorealism. This isn't just for that particular style. I'm just saying for any style. Doesn't matter if it's abstraction, doesn't matter if it's postmodernism, action painting, Der Blaue Reiter, these different sorts of things. You're trying to be a post modernist, impressionist. I don't know what you think. That's they got so many terms these days, but everybody could benefit from having someone putting their eyeballs in something and letting you know what they think. Now, the hardest part about basically with artists especially is we like to hide in our little studio and do our little things, and sometimes we don't want those people in here chasing away our muse or or whatever it is. You just want to create your art and have everyone love it, right? But you really, it's always good to have a second opinion, even after doing all the little tricks, looking at the picture upside down, looking at it in a mirror over your shoulder, or these different sorts of, covering little bits of the picture so you can look at other bits of the picture. There's all these little techniques that people will use, but even at the end of the day with all that, it really helps to have a second opinion. And so that can be hard. How do we do this? And so I'll tell people, look, I said, go ahead and find a group of people that are willing to be in a critique group with you. Sometimes that can be the hardest part, talking to people's artists. You got to get out there, you got to converse with these individuals. But try to find some that are the people that you're motivated, that like to do what you're doing, that you feel are kind of, at your level, and put aside some time where you guys can get together and look at everybody's work. Now, critique groups can be a good thing or a bad thing. And here's what I mean by that. When you're putting together a critique group, you don't want, if you've got a bunch of novices, they may not understand what you're doing, or they may not understand your vision because they're not used to analyzing a visual piece, and so they may not be able to give you very good advice. So what you want it to be a good critique group, which means you want somebody who understands that kind of stuff to come in as a guest and basically run the critique, and or to offer critique, and also maybe to give some insight on what a good critique is. And so I always tell people, look for professional artists, people you respect, people in the industry. I think the really best is if you have a very seasoned artists, again, that you respect their work, you enjoy what they do, and if they've taught at a university, or maybe it's an advanced high school or something like that in the arts or something like that, where they really have a good foundation. Because again, sometimes, you'll have people that might be teaching, but they only have one style that they like to do, and they can't really think outside their own box or whatever. And you want people that are getting a little more versatile. Usually at a university, that kind of tries to make you be a little bit more versatile, so that you can, talk to somebody with different styles and still be able to give them some insight. but so you're just going to want to be able to find an individual like that, and it might take a little bit of time, but you know, grab that individual or contact them and just let them know about what you guys are doing. And the biggest thing I would say is like, look, if you're going to have a professional, if you're going to have someone come in, please let them know their time is valuable. And the easiest way to let someone know that their time is valuable is to offer them, a remuneration or basically money to come in and to take a look and to actually, to contribute to your group. And so, you're going to want to offer them some money. And if you've got, I don't know, 5 people, 6 people in a group, you might be able to collect, $30 from per person or $40 per person. And then let that person know, hey, we do value you. We value your time. We value what you do. And as a thank you, we'd like to offer you this gift to come in and spend a couple hours with us and critique our work. If you do that and put together a group like that, and again, find that individual that can come in, that can offer his services, that is worth its weight in gold, as people would say. It's a great thing to do. It will help you to advance your artwork. It will help you to create more finished pieces. The important thing is when you're critiquing is remember there's a critique etiquette, a critique etiquette. That's what we're trying to say. And the etiquette is that you want to identify 2 or 3 things that you really enjoy about the person's work, what they're doing, about their idea, whatever, and then you tell them about what can be changed. Don't just launch into, some sort of thing about, this, that, or the other. You want to first say, hey, I like this, I like that. I think you might think about doing this, or this. Also, what helps, many times people will jump into a critique without even talking to the artist. You want to ask the artist, hey, what are you trying to do? What's your story? Tell about the piece. What is the piece trying to do? What is the piece trying to say? If it's a painting, what's the palette you're using? What are you trying to do with the color? Is there something we should know about the significance of this, that, or the other? Ask them some questions so that way you can look at the piece and have a better understanding and appreciation for what they're trying to do. And then you can go ahead and start to critique it. And when you critique it, you are critiquing on the structures, whether or not they're using 3-dimensional space or collage space. 3-dimensional space meaning lots of depth, maybe perspective, versus something being more like maybe collage, which is much flatter. So you're going to be looking for repetition. You're going to be looking for the elements of art. You're going to be looking for all these wonderful things that you want to think about and try to respond to and to give them some constructive feedback. So that's really going to give you a much better critique and give that artist a much better critique. As the artist, you want to try to be as you can ask questions, but try when you first start having a critique. If you're not used to it, sometimes it's very easy to be a little offensive about the things that are being said. So sometimes take you might just listen quietly. If you really have a burning question, you might ask a question. Hey, what when you say that, I don't think I understand it. Can you define it for me a little bit? Maybe have a conversation about with the person about what they're trying to let you know. Don't try to have an argument. You're never going to argue somebody into believing that your painting is better than what it is. And so, you don't want to do that because it's just going to get, it's going to get heated and most likely nothing's going to be resolved. So it's much easier just to listen to what they have to say. And at the end of the day, you're going to think about the stuff that was said. You want to ponder it a little bit, go into your studio, think about what was said over the next couple of days, and then make the changes that you think are important. You don't have to accept everything that everybody says. But you don't want to discount everything everyone says either. If you're like, they're all a bunch of, that's probably a little bit more of the ego getting in the way of actually helping the piece. And so you do want to think about, hey, maybe I like what this person is saying. I don't know that this one is as good for really where I'm trying to go. I think I'll do this. And to do this, I'm going to, you brainstorm and you look at the piece and you figure out ways to make it better. So that's critique groups, again, will help point you in a better direction. They'll help you figure out ways to improve your art, make it stronger. And that way, it's more likely to either, if you're selling it in a gallery to sell, or if you're in a competition, probably do better, in the competition, things like that. And more, and even better, it'll help you to start to open up your mind and help you to think more about your imagery. So critique groups, I would say they're the best thing you could possibly do. And I would encourage anybody to try to put those together, especially if you're very serious about trying to, improve your art and make it better. So anyways, I hope everyone will get out there, give it a shot. At the very least, stay creative, keep on, painting and drawing, and have yourselves a good day. Take care. Bye-bye now.